Hi everyone, welcome back to my lab and today's video, which is going to be a haul update on some of the products that I've been hauling on my channel recently. Before I share my results with you, I did want to mention that this idea was popularized by TiffJeff069. So that's her channel name. I will leave her linked in my description box down below. I think that you'll really enjoy her channel. She has really nice hauls, product reviews, and she does do regular updates on all the products that she's used. So you get a sort of a follow-up opinion after she's used it for a good long time. I've seen other people do this kind of video, but I believe that she popularized the idea, so I will link her down below if you want to check her out. Also, if you're new to my channel, I'm Yori. I do like to upload videos every single week on all of my favorite makeup products. I would love it if you subscribed and join my makeup family if you enjoyed this video or other content like it. Now, without any further delay, let's go ahead and get started. So this update is not from any one specific haul. It's just some products that I've had set aside that I know I hauled on my channel that I haven't given you updates on, and I wanted to include those in this video. The first product I wanted to update you on is by Becca, and this is the Anti-Fatigue Under Eye Primer. I've seen this a lot on Mel Thompson's channel. She alternates a lot between this and the Tatcha Pearl, and I decided I wanted to try this out because my under eye area is actually one of my trouble spots. I have very wrinkly under eye areas, and I also have very dark circles, so I have to wear concealer all the time, and I do have a problem with my concealer creasing, so I was wondering if this might be a product that could help with that. Now, the first thing that I noticed when I apply it is that, first of all, I don't like that I have to stick my fingers into the primer base. I also noticed that it develops sort of a film even from one day to the next. So I'll use it today and I will apply it under my eyes, and then tomorrow when I go rub my fingers in it again, it just seems to have not hardened, but it does develop some sort of film that you kind of have to get through again. I think that its effects are okay. I don't like the application method, and I prefer using the Pure Cosmetics Hydrogel Lift because it comes in a little stick format which you can apply directly from the packaging, and you don't really have to put your hands in it. Now, I think it works okay. I am wearing it today, so I'll probably finish off this product, but unless I come to love it a little bit more over time, I don't think that I would be repurchasing this particular one. Now, that was designed to go along with this setting powder, and this is the Under Eye Brightening Setting Powder by Becca as well. And it's just an under eye setting powder. I've used it several times. It's supposed to be translucent, but I do find that it gives me a little bit of a white cast underneath my eyes. Nothing too bad. It's not a terrible flashback kind of situation, but it does sort of lighten the area, which it's supposed to do since it's a brightening powder. But I tend to like setting powders that don't alter the shade of my base products that I already have down. Again, this is another product that I find okay, but not necessarily one that I would repurchase specifically for that purpose. So I think it's fine. The Under Eye Brightening Setting Powder, it does set the under eye, it does make my concealer last, and it does reduce the amount of creasing, but the fact of the matter is that I always have my concealer creasing one way or another. So again, just an okay product, but not necessarily one that I will be making a holy grail kind of product. Now, along the same vein, I did purchase the Tatcha Pearl, and this is an under eye brightening treatment, and this one I absolutely love. I don't think I'm gonna run out of this one anytime soon because you get a lot of product in comparison to how much you actually need to apply. I've actually had this product on my favorites several times on my channel. I also purchased one for my mom because I thought that she would really enjoy the effects of this particular product. I find that I can wear it both underneath concealer or on its own, and it does brighten the under eye area to lighten those dark circles that I have. It just makes me look a little more awake, a little more alert, and it's a really flattering product. So this is definitely one that I want to have in my rotation at all times. It's actually moved to my everyday makeup drawer, and I would really recommend this product. You only need the tiniest amount, and the effect is really significant, at least for me. Another product by Tatcha is this one. This is the Tatcha Silk Canvas, and this is another product that I have had in my favorites. It's a priming product, and it's supposed to be very good for blurring imperfections. It also fills your pores. Now, I have found that this product is nice all over my skin, even though I do have dry skin. It gives me like a pearlescent kind of finish, and I prefer to use it under my makeup because it does have a little bit of a white cast. If you look at the product itself, it's a little bit like pinky white. Again, a little bit of this product goes a really long way, and I just like the smoothing result that it has underneath my foundation. I don't wear it without makeup. I use it strictly on the days that I'm wearing makeup, and I think my skincare routine has really think impacted my dry skin such that I actually have pores now. I didn't used to really have pores, which I think is typical of someone with dry skin type, but now I can actually see a little bit of pores here in my cheek area, and using this primer really fills those in and gives me a really smooth canvas for my makeup. So I'm really enjoying having this in my collection. I don't foresee myself using this up anytime soon. You just get a ton of product and you just need a minimal amount. I wouldn't call it holy grail status, but I do really enjoy it, and if it's something you've been curious about, I would recommend it. Now, I did haul a couple of base products as well, one of them being this Airflash Spray Foundation by Dior. I picked mine up in the shade number 300, which is supposed to be a medium skin tone with golden undertones, and I love this. This has also been in one of my favorites videos. I apply it best with a beauty blender where I will spray the foundation onto the beauty blender and then dab it onto my skin. I most definitely do not spray this directly on my face, even though you're supposed to be able to, but I just don't know how you would control that. Keep it from getting in your hair, and just, I prefer light coverage anyway, so I like the way that this looks when I spray it on a damp sponge and apply it all over my skin. It gives a really beautiful finish. Not too heavy of a coverage, it doesn't crease, it doesn't settle in my fine lines, and I find that it gives me a very natural finish. It's not super radiant, but it's not super matte, so it's something that I can wear for an everyday kind of situation, and I think it looks beautiful. This specific foundation is starting to become one of my absolute favorites, and I really like the color match as well. I think they have a pretty decent shade range for this particular product, and if you've been curious about it, it's one that I would recommend. I just wouldn't think that it really performs like an airbrush machine would do. I just think that it's a little misleading in telling you that you're gonna get an airbrush finish, especially since it's an aerosol can. It kind of gives you the impression that you can spray it on, and honestly, I just don't think that's practical for this. So it's a little bit misleading in that sense, but if you give it a chance with a beauty blender, the effect is really beautiful, and I would recommend this one for sure. Another base product I purchased is by Dr. Jart, and this is the BB Beauty Balm Multi-Action Skincare and Makeup, and it's got SPF 45. I got the idea for this one from a Stephanie Nicole video. She has a tendency to prefer a lot of the same foundations that I do, so she likes a light coverage, very luminous finish formula, and she recommended this specific product. This is, I believe, a Korean brand, and it does not come in a lot of shades. So this one is 02 medium deep. I think that there are only 3 or 4 shades. However, this is one of those very lightweight products that is supposed to be adaptive to your own skin tone. So I'm not exactly sure what the range might be with only 4 specific shades. However, this one, which is labeled medium deep, is one that does work for me. The coverage is really light, and again, it doesn't give you a whole lot of coverage. It just sort of evens out your skin tone and gives you a very nice natural finish, so I do enjoy it. I do find that it's a little bit gray in tone, but once you blend it out, because it's so sheer, it doesn't give a gray cast, or it doesn't look ashy or anything like that, and the finish is really nice. Like you can see, this is the one that I'm wearing today, and I'm really happy with the way that it looks. I like it best applied with a beauty blender as well, although it applies beautifully with a brush as well if you use slightly buffing motions, and you can get a little more coverage if you use a brush. So if this is something that you've been curious about trying out, it is something that I would recommend, and it's been working out really well for me, so I'm happy to have this one in my collection. Another base product was a concealer. This one is by Milk Makeup, and I actually featured this one in a 5 and 5 featuring Milk Makeup, so if you're curious about other Milk Makeup products that I've tried, definitely check out that video, which I will link in the cards. But this is their Flex Concealer, and I picked mine up in the shade Light Medium. It is the shade that works best from their entire range, even with their expansion, and I've been enjoying this concealer okay. It's a fine concealer. The problem that I've had with this, and I mentioned it in my video as well, is that the stopper will sporadically come out, like it just did right now. Perfect timing. It's just super messy. So this is how the applicator comes out when the stopper is removed. And honestly, it just happens randomly, and I just find it irritating enough that I know I won't purchase this concealer again. I think they've since corrected that problem. I'm not sure, but I don't like it enough to take that risk. So even though I'm using it, the shade is fine. It functions fine. It's not one of my favorites. I think it's okay. The packaging is horrible. I'm glad that they did expand on their shade range. You get 0.2 ounces of product of 5.9 milliliters here. Again, I'm just gonna say it's okay, but I'm not gonna recommend it because the packaging is just flawed. Unless I hear that they've corrected that situation, it's just not worth it for me. There are other concealers with better packaging that don't have that issue. I missed one base product that I had as well. This is the Too Faced Do You Full Coverage Fresh Glow Foundation. I picked mine up in the shade Natural Beige. This is supposed to be long wearing, dewy finish, hydrating, and brightening. I used this product in a Too Faced Tutti Frutti collection review and tutorial, and I actually like this foundation. It smells like watermelon, cucumber. It smells like sweet, like candy, and it's fine. It doesn't linger too much, but it is there. So fragrance is going to be one of the ingredients. If you're sensitive to that, I would avoid it. I really like that Too Faced introduced this line into their collection because I was interested in trying the one from the Peaches and Cream collection. I think it was called Peach Soft Matte Foundation or something like that. I tried that. That did not agree with my dry skin type. It looked really heavy and cakey. It wasn't a flattering finish at all, but this one actually looks really nice on my skin, especially if I use a very hydrating primer. My preferred method of applying this one is also with a beauty blender, and it looks really nice. I'm glad I have it in my collection. I will definitely finish. Probably not one that I would repurchase necessarily, but so far so good. Some people have said that this oxidizes, and I do find that if you make a swatch and you let it sit there, it does oxidize a little bit, but if you apply it to your skin and blend it out right away, it doesn't oxidize that much, or at least once you have a really thin layer, it's not that noticeable when it's actually on the skin, at least for me, but I do apply a very thin layer of the foundation. And it says full coverage. I don't think this is full coverage because if it was, I probably wouldn't like it. I think that this is more of a medium coverage at best. You could probably build it up a little bit, but I never do that. I'm satisfied with a medium coverage foundation, and so this is a nice one to have in my collection, but not necessarily a favorite at this time. Now, in my Sephora VIB sale haul from the spring, I hauled Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Diffused Light, and I actually ended up returning that one because I realized that I had that shade in this trio. This is an Hourglass Ambient Diffused Light Palette. It's something that I purchased from a Nordstrom sale, so I think it was a Nordstrom exclusive, and in this particular palette, I have the Diffused Light Powder, which I wanted to try. There's also a blush, and that one is Diffused Heat. I'm not sure if it's limited edition or permanent to their line, and the other one is Diffused Bronze Light, and I think that one is permanent to their line. So I returned that powder since I had a small version of it in this palette to try out, and I like the powder. I had initially purchased it to try setting my under eyes because I also noticed that Mel Thompson, in the past, she would frequently use that powder, and she panned I don't know how many for using it for setting under her eyes. I actually don't enjoy it that way. I did apply a little bit under my eyes today after the Becca product, and I thought it was fine, but nothing really life-changing, at least for me, and so I prefer to use the Diffused Light Powder as an all-over finishing powder instead, and I found that it works out really well that way. Now, as for the other shades in the palette, I am wearing both of them today. I'm wearing the blush on my cheeks, which again was Diffused Heat, and I'm wearing the bronzer as well. As far as the bronzer, I didn't find it to be too deep. I think that if I were picking out a bronzer on my own, I would pick one out with a little bit more deeper shade, but this one worked out okay, got the job done, and it does have a nice finish. What I do like about the powders is that they do have the ambient lighting powders throughout the product, and so all the products have a luminosity to them, which are really flattering on my dry skin type, and because I like a radiant finish, these kinds of products sit really well on my skin. So this is a really nice palette. Again, it was limited edition. I don't think that they'll have it again, but the three products are available individual, maybe in different shades, and I would definitely recommend them. They're really, really pretty powders. Another product by Hourglass that I had was the Vanish Flash Highlighting Stick, and this one has the same packaging as the Vanish foundation, and I picked mine up in the shade Champagne Flash. It's one of the lighter highlighting shades, and this is absolutely beautiful. I think I've had this in one of my favorites videos as well. It's a cream highlight, and honestly, my favorite way to apply it is to just rub my finger on the tip of the product and tap it into the high points of my cheeks. I like to do that on no makeup days, and it blends with my skin beautifully, but on the days that I'm wearing makeup, I am wearing it today as a base for another highlight. You can even tap this over powder if you've already powdered the area, and it still gives you a beautiful finish. It doesn't pick up the existing powder as long as you don't overdo it. It just has such a beautiful finish, and I think that it comes in about 5 or 6 different shades, so you could definitely find find one that will work or appeal to you. And it's just a beautiful product. I've used it quite a lot and there's no sign of it finishing. So even though it's a little bit pricey, I do think that it's worth the money and I would definitely recommend it. It's a beautiful, beautiful highlighter. No glitter. It's just like a lit from within kind of glow. It's gorgeous. And those no makeup days, this is just beautiful. I love it so much. It's perfect. Another thing that I picked up, which was definitely very, very new for me and my very first product from Guerlain, were these Guerlain Meteorites, and they are light revealing pearls of powder. I picked mine up in the shade 3 medium, and I think that they come in about 5 different shades. Now these are the ones that are permanent to their line, and this is what they look like. They're those little spears of different colored pearls, which you can use as a finishing powder, and that's how I've been using them. I love this. Oh my goodness. I love this as a finishing powder. So usually what I'll take is a little kabuki buffing brush, kind of like this one from MAC. This is a MAC 182 brush, and I'll just dip it in there and I'll buff it all over my skin as a final step. And I think that it just places a filter over everything that I've applied on my skin. It gives a luminosity, and then it also blends all my products together. So you're never going to have a harsh line from highlight, blush, bronzer, contour, nothing like that. You just buff it all over. It's so beautiful. There's a light scent to it. It smells kind of like violets, I think. They may have made a fragrance in this scent, I'm not sure, but it's such a lovely product. Like, I'm surprised that something like this would make such a difference in the way my makeup looks, but I think that it gives my makeup sort of that airbrushed finish, and it's just, I don't know, it takes my makeup level one notch up, I think, and I'm really enjoying having them in my collection. It's not something that I travel with because I'm just afraid that it would open in my makeup bag and spill all over the place, which is not something that I want, but I definitely use it whenever I do a full face of makeup. I've been enjoying these so much, and it's so, I don't know, it seems so vintage. The little pot on top of my vanity, it's really, really pretty, and it's a really pleasant product to use, so I would definitely recommend it as a finishing powder if you've not tried it already. And they have a whole bunch that they come out with as limited edition products. Like, they have some highlighting ones right now that are a little bit bronzy on the Sephora website. They're supposed to be limited edition. I was tempted to get them, but my goodness, these are really pricey. I think they're about $60, and I don't know how long these are gonna last, and I've been using them pretty frequently since I purchased them, and there's really no sign of reduction of the products, so I don't know. I have to debate, but I really enjoy having this in my makeup routine. They're lovely. They're really lovely products. Moving right along, I did want to mention this Benefit Brow Contour Pro. I did an entire dedicated video to this product, which I will link in the cards if you want to check it out. And I like this product. I think that it's very innovative with the style of the 4 little clicking pens. And what I most enjoy about them is, number one, how creamy the product is. This isn't a product that is waxy. You don't have to press too hard on your brows to get the product to show up. Just lightly dabbing across your brows will fill them in beautifully. And I love that it has these like concealer shades. They're called the definer and highlighter shades. Now, I use them interchangeably, really. I'm a lot likely to use the definer above my brow and the highlighter beneath my brow to just clean up the shape if I make a mistake. I had 2 complaints about this product. The first being that when you are drawing your brows, the pencil's a little bit thicker than my favorite brow pencils, which are the Brow Wiz or the Benefit Precisely My Brow. The pencil's a little bit thicker, so your hair-like strokes are going to be a little bit bigger. And then the other thing is that the packaging itself is a little bit bulky, so when I'm working on my brows, I kind of block my own line of vision, and I mentioned that in that video as well. If you want to see how the product performs and how I do my brows, then check that out, but it is the one I'm wearing on my brows today. And I do like the product. I think it's innovative and good for traveling because I do like to clean up my brow with those concealer type shades. It's nice to have it all in one. So I like it, but I do prefer Precisely My Brow or the Brow Wiz a little bit more than this one. Now, also from the Too Faced Tutti Frutti collection, I did pick up a couple of the face products. The first one I picked up was the Pineapple Sun, and this is the bronzer product. So that's what it looks like. It's got 2 different shades where one is more of a highlighter and the other one's a little bit more of a bronzer. Unfortunately, this only comes in 1 shade and it's a little bit light. It does show up on my skin tone, but if you're a lot deeper than me or even a little bit deeper than me, it may not necessarily work for you. So that was a shame that they didn't come out with more shades, because it is a really nice product and I enjoy it. I like the way it smells. It smells a little bit sweet, but not as sweet as the coconut smell of the butter bronzer. It's just a sweet scent. It's pleasant, not one that necessarily lingers. I do like to wear the bronzer on its own for a more satin kind of finish, but if you mix up the two products together, then it gives you a really luminous kind of bronzy effect. It's a pretty nice product from the Too Faced collection. I also picked up one of the blushes, and the one that I picked up was in the shade Strobe Berry. And similar to the bronzer, it's got two different shades, where one is more of a highlighting one and the other one's more satin finish. So if you like a luminous blush, this might be something that you would be into. I think that there were about 5 or 6 shades in the line, so you could definitely find something to suit your taste within the line. I picked this one up because I thought it was the most original and the one that would add the most value to my particular collection, and it's really, really nice. I like it. I'm not necessarily going to pick up any more products at this time from the line because I'm going to have this forever and I have so many blushes already. I'm trying to be a little bit smarter with my money, but I really wanted to try out the collection, and this is one of the products that appealed to me the most. From that same collection, I picked up a couple of other things. I picked up the lip glosses, which I will put on the screen so you can take a look at what they look like. I had picked up 2 shades from that line, and I ended up returning them actually because I thought that they were a little bit pricey for what they were. Pretty much that's the only reason I returned them. I wasn't like super crazy about the colors that I picked out. One of them was kind of metallic, and I found that when I wore it, it would wear away with the shade and then leave glitter all over my lips, which would then make my lips look a little bit dry, which is very counterintuitive for a gloss. So I decided that those 2 were not going to be worth my money. I wouldn't really recommend them. The ones that are more pigmented are a little bit prettier. I've since gotten a chance to swatch the collection in store because I purchased mine online and I was just going by, you know, promotional swatches, and they look okay, but again, nothing really super spectacular. And I wouldn't call myself necessarily a gloss person, although I do love a comfortable lip product, so I'm just sort of playing that balance. You can check them out in store. I don't think they're anything special for that price tag. I think the price point was about $19, and so my 2 shades went back. Another product that I did not feel was worth the money were the shimmery eyeshadows. Like we all do, I was comparing them to the Stila Glitter and Glow or Shimmer and Glow liquid eyeshadows, and they just don't have that kind of pigment. They don't have the same amount of glitter, and I found that they worked better on their own. If I tried to layer them over shadow, it would start to sort of dissolve the shadow that was underneath, move it around. It would make a goopy mess on my eyes, and I wasn't really impressed. And when Stila does it so well at a similar price tag, I'd rather go with the Stila shadows. And so that's another product that I would not recommend. I just don't think that it's worth the money when you can have one of the Stila ones that are a lot better. And the final product from that line were the Pineapple Drop Highlighters. That was nothing but glitter infused water. I don't know what else to call it. It smelled nice. When you applied it, it would leave glitter specks and the water would evaporate. I wasn't sold on that when I tried it. I mentioned it in the video. I definitely didn't think it was worth $30. If you want a very nice liquid or cream highlighter, this is beautiful. The Hourglass one or the Marc Jacobs one or even the Anastasia ones, the Makeup Forever. But that Too Faced drop thing, maybe on the body, but I don't need a body illuminator right now. It's winter. Nobody's seeing anything. I mean, maybe today my shoulders, but nobody's seeing anything here. So I just don't need it at this time. Not a product I would recommend from that line. So let's see. I did pick up 2 eyeshadow palettes from the Tutti Frutti collection, and in my video I was wearing this one. This is the Razzle Dazzle Berry eyeshadow palette, and this is what it looks like. This is a beautiful eyeshadow palette. At first I didn't like how it smelled, but since I've had it for a while, the smell has dissipated a little bit. It's still kind of Robitussin-y though. But what I really like in this palette are the shades, and it's really nice berry tone shadows, and I like the formula of these sort of jelly eyeshadows. They're almost liquid. It seems like you can press them in, but they apply really well to the eyes, and they apply really well with a synthetic brush. They pick up really well. You don't have to worry about glitter glues or dampening your brush or anything like that. They apply beautifully to the eye. And this was my favorite of the two that I picked up because it was the most unique. But I also picked up the pineapple palette, and I told a lot of you in the comment section that I thought that this was definitely wearable. This is the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today, so I have worn the palette since then, and I think that this is just a really nice neutral palette with a very fun green duochrome shade there. And again, these shades that are like sort of like jelly shades, they apply beautifully on the eyes with your fingers or with a synthetic brush. And this shade right here, the very last shade in the palette, makes a beautiful brow bone highlight, inner corner highlight. I am wearing it that way today, and I think it looks really good. It's a really easy palette to use. You can get a very nice everyday kind of look, and the packaging is so adorable. This one has a smell more like the bronzer, so it's more of a sweet pineapple coconut kind of scent. And I would recommend either one of those palettes, whichever color story suits you the best. They're really small, so they're travel friendly, and the quality is good. Another eyeshadow palette that I hauled is from Natasha Denona. This was an eyeshadow palette that I was wanting for a very, very long time. It is her 28 pan eyeshadow palette, and this one was in the green brown version. I absolutely love this palette. I have used it and I really love it for the metallics. There's not too many matte shades in here. You do have enough matte and satin finish shades to get a very nice eye look, and then the rest is all greens and golds and coppers. It's just a beautiful palette. Not gonna tell anybody they need a $239 eyeshadow palette in their collection, but if you wish to spend that money, if you have it to treat yourself, I don't think that you would regret this one. It's a beautiful formula. I'm enjoying having it. I have been wanting this palette for so long, and I finally took the plunge and treated myself, and I never looked back. Very beautiful palette, excellent Natasha Denona quality. The mattes in the palette, just so you know, they're not her creamy matte formula. They were in her original type of formula, which is different, but I think that it still functions really nicely, and that palette is more about the metallics anyway. So now I have a couple of lip products that I purchased. I should have mentioned these when I was talking about the Too Faced ones, but I picked up one of the Bite Beauty. These are called Amuse Bouche Liquefied Lip. So they're glossy type of lip products, and this specific one is in the shade Arrowroot, and I'm probably the only one, but I don't really like the way Bite Beauty products smell. I mean, they smell okay. They just have a candy, sweet kind of Kool-Aid smell to me, and I guess I'm indifferent to the smell. It's not something I'd be like, oh, yum. No, not really. I think it's okay. The product I really like though, it's a nice glossy kind of finish lip color, but what I like about them is that they stay put. They're not going to bleed outside your lip line, and they fade really nicely. They don't dry out your lips, and they sort of like go through a transition where you have the glossy finish, and then after a little while the gloss kind of wears off and you have a satin finish kind of lip color, which fades nicely. It doesn't dry out your lips. It doesn't make funny lines or bleed. This particular line has a good color range as well, so you could definitely find something that you like. I picked up the shade Arrowroot because I really enjoy those burnt orange kind of shades, and I like it. I think it's fine. I'm not necessarily seeking out another product in this line. I have a little set that I purchased in the holiday last year, so between those, I think I really have my fill of this type of lip product from Bite Beauty, but it's nice. It's okay. Another thing I picked up was from the Sephora collection, and this is one of their lip stories. This is number 3 in the shade We, and it's a really nice pinky nude kind of shade. I've worn this one in a couple of videos. I think in my most recent video where I reviewed the Natasha Denona Gold palette. I think I may have been wearing it in that video. I don't remember, but I've worn it in a couple of videos. This is one of their satin cream kind of formulas. They have various ones. They have sheer, they have metallic, they have matte, a little bit for everyone, I would say, and a variety of shades. There's even a kit for holiday which comes with like maybe 5 of these in different finishes that you might be interested in trying out. I really like the shade, and probably one of the more affordable products at Sephora. I do like it. I haven't recently visited the section, but I wouldn't mind having another couple of these in my collection as well. They're very easy to use. The packaging is cute because every shade has its own kind of finish, which is related to the product's name. So this one is called We, and it just kind of looks like French fashion kind of design. It has hangers and dresses, but each specific shade has a different pattern, and that's kind of cute. It's also representative of the color inside. It is just paper packaging, but that's okay. It doesn't always have to be plastic, and for the price I wouldn't really expect much more than that, and I think it's fine. I like it. Nice stuff. Now a product that I do not have to show you that I did pick up in that haul. They were called the Tom Ford Lip Lacquers, and sort of around the summertime they were super popular, and they're kind of similar to the Bite Beauty liquefied lipsticks, except they were more runny, and I loved the colors. It was so comfortable. It was beautiful on the lips. I love them so much. I did a whole eye look around my lip color because I bought one of those really bright shades. I think it was called Flame, and it was, again, the glossy ones. I wore it and I went out and I was like, wow, this is so amazing, and I felt really good, but then every time I looked in the mirror, it was bleeding outside my lip line, and I tried so many ways to get that product to work because I loved it so much. I tried putting concealer around my lips. I bought a product from NYX, which is a pencil, like a reverse lip liner that you would place outside to keep products still. I tried a lip liner. I tried applying it and blotting. I just tried everything and it would not stop bleeding. And it's just, I think that product was $54, and for $54, I don't want to have to be looking at it every 5 minutes because it's looking bad. And it was a beautiful color. Maybe I should have tried one of the matte ones instead of one of the glossy ones, but I have matte lipsticks and I wanted something different. Plus, right now glossy lips are really in style, and so I wanted to go along with something like that, but it just was not worth it, and they had to go back because, yeah, $54 for something that's bleeding outside my lip line and just making me look older than I am was a no-go. So I can't recommend those. And it's crazy because I've seen like Flower Bomb, I think her channel name is Flower Bomb 31, and even Michelle Wong, they loved those colors and they look so great on them, but it just did not work for me. I think, yeah, it just didn't work for me and my lips, so those had to go back, and I can't recommend those. The last thing that I wanted to share was the brush by Surat Beauty. This is the Smoky Eye Brush Moyenne, and I hold that there's just nothing softer than these squirrel hair brushes. I love them so much. Like, this one is significantly thicker than the one that I had before, which was the petite one, and I really enjoyed doing more of my detailed crease color with that one. And so this one I usually do maybe my first transition shade with it, and what I like about these brushes is that they really blend out the color and they're so soft. You can use them on your lower lash line or in the crease, and they're just beautiful brushes. They're natural hair brushes, so the brush fibers pick up color really well, but then they're really soft and flexible, so they diffuse color beautifully as well. They're just beautifully made brushes. I love them. I'm happy I have this one in my collection, but if you were picking one or the other, especially if you have hooded eyes, probably the petite one would be more useful because it's smaller, and so you could do more of the detailed crease work. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sorry I have it. I definitely use it. You've seen it in my videos, and yeah, I love this brush. I think that's everything that I picked up during those hauls. Now, I know that I had some skincare there, and I would stay tuned for the skincare, hair care, and things like that in my empties videos, because I think with things like that, it takes a while of using it to really understand how it's going. And then also with some of the skincare, like I bought something from Dr. Jart, the Ceramidin collection. I actually have not even dipped into that yet because I had so much open skincare already, and I don't like it to go bad, so I just stored it and I'll use it a little bit later. I think I did try a sample that I received in the mail and I like it. It was really nice, so I'm glad that I have it, and I definitely will start using it very, very soon. But I have a lot of moisturizers open right now with vitamin C's and hyaluronic acids and things like that. I don't want it to go bad, so I'm just waiting to use those. I had shampoo. You'll see those in my empty, lip balm, things like that. Just stay tuned for my empties videos and you will see the results of those specific products. I will definitely get back to you. If there's anything that you remember I hauled that I didn't cover in this specific video, leave that in the comment section down below and I will be happy to let you know how it's working out for me. Other than that, that's everything for this video. I just wanted to give you an update on how it's going with these specific products. Most of them are working out really well. I didn't have too many returns. Some of them had to go back, but that's okay. I'm enjoying the ones that I have here. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing my little mini reviews and updates on all of those goodies. If you did enjoy, please don't forget, give my video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and stay tuned for some more videos from me very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well, and I look forward to seeing you again on my next one. Bye-bye.